This is the Overdue Homework Podcast.
Welcome to the show. That's Trav. I'm Drew.
And I'm Trav.
This is the Overdue Homework Podcast. As always, we are here to talk about 80s and 90s media, but I really want to hit this for a second here, Trav. We haven't talked about it in a while, but the real thing to do with this podcast is to actually do your homework.
Do the homework, people.
Do the homework. I know it may feel like it's too much work to do the homework.
For sure.
But it's just a movie.
It's just a movie.
It's just a TV show.
It's just a show.
Do your homework. It makes it way more fun, don't you think?
It definitely makes it way more fun. We should know because we do the homework. So take it from us. If you are even remotely enjoying the podcast so far, do the homework and you will love it.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially when it comes to these TV episodes that we're doing. We are trying to find a way to make them bigger and better. I think we know, and the listeners know, that the bread and butter of this podcast so far is the movies. It's kind of laid out for us. It works a little easier. I think they've been our best episodes. But the problem is, the whole premise of this podcast is to do your homework. And the TV shows, Drew and I agree, have been the most fun homework to do. So that's why we really want to cram that down your throat, to do the homework. And we've been trying to think of some ways to spicing it up a little bit, and thought maybe something like the long-term homework assignment that we talked about a while ago, where maybe it'll allow us to do more than 2 or 3 episodes of a show if we can give you guys a homework assignment maybe 2 or 3 episodes in advance. And then when it comes time for that homework, you'll still get the 2-week period to do the homework and binge it again or for the first time. But maybe give some people more time to find what streaming service it's on, or go hang out at a buddy's place and watch it together. Find another way to do the homework before then. And I think it'll hopefully make our TV episodes a little more fun, closer to the movies. What do you think, Drew?
Those are all really, really great ideas, and that's why you're the idea man. That is why you're the idea man. I mean, you came up with the name of the podcast, so
Dun, dun, dun.
Idea man. But really, we want your feedback on this.
Yes.
If you have any suggestions for us to spice up these TV episodes to make them cater to a little bit more of what you want, we are open to all and any suggestions. Like we've said before on this podcast, we want to make the show you want to listen to.
Definitely.
So
we just had a few feedback from listeners from the beginning that say they like the TV episodes, but they just love the movie ones better. So we are looking for you guys to give us suggestions on how to improve it.
Absolutely. And you can do that at Overdue Homework Podcast at gmail.com.
Boom.
How are you doing, Trev?
I am better than bad. I am good.
That's great. That's great. That's really, really great. I'm doing really good, too. We had my daughter's birthday this last weekend, which is a heck of a lot of fun. She turned 6, so happy birthday, Evie.
Happy birthday, Evie.
Before we get into this, I did use a little bit of information from only one article this time around. It was a Collider.com article, and that was by Hayden Mears. Mears. So, why don't we hit up this homework review, Trav?
Let's do it.
We are reviewing Ren and Stimpy Season 1, Episodes 1, 2, and 4, because we already did Episode 3 and Episode 8 of our podcast, the Double Nicktoons Weekend. So go check out that one if you would like to brush up on your Episode 3 or if you haven't listened to it yet. Ren and Stimpy was created by John Kricfalusi. It was originally produced by Spumco for Nickelodeon. The show would not exist if it had not been for one specific network executive at Nickelodeon. Kricfalusi pitched the show called Our Gang to Nickelodeon and executive Vanessa Coffey. Ren and Stimpy were supporting characters on Our Gang. Executive producer Vanessa Coffey did not like the pitch for Our Gang at all. Didn't like it. But she liked Ren and Stimpy.
Nice.
So she said, I want more stuff with Ren and Stimpy. So thank you very much, Vanessa.
Thank you, Vanessa.
And, of course, Ren and Stimpy is starring Martin T. Ren Hoek, Stimson Stimpy J. Cat. All right, let's get into Episode 1, Stimpy's Big Day. It's a good episode.
It's a good episode, yeah.
It's a good episode.
Yeah.
I really like this episode. It's really, I don't know, I would consider this episode maybe the one that I've actually seen the most.
Sure.
As soon as I started watching it, I was like, oh, dang, it's Muddy Mud Skipper. It's all of this stuff. It's really cool that the whole episode opened up with Log. I mean, start off on a good note, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a complete classic. The play on the retro commercials. It really hits me good with those TV commercials that you kind of grow up with. And I suppose if we would have been maybe Chris Falusi's age, it really would have reflected upon those 1960s commercials that they're truly parodying.
Right.
But that still is close enough to what we grew up with in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. And the song is hilarious.
It is absolutely hilarious.
I don't know if I realized how hilarious it was when I was a kid, but my God.
It's really, really good. It's really, really good. The episode opens up with Stimpy rotting his brain watching cartoons, and Ren's not really having it, right?
No.
Look what it's doing to your brain. And the whole bit with Stimpy's head as a toilet, really enjoyed that. The wiggling of the nose. Really enjoyed that quite a bit. This opens up, though, as basically an immediate nod to the audience and making fun of them for watching cartoons, right?
Right.
Ren might as well be looking at the camera or looking directly towards us in frame. Ren and Stimpy had a gigantic adult audience at the time. It's so interesting that adult audience, those college-age kids at the time, really glommed onto a show on a network that they didn't grow up with.
Right.
It's such an interesting, underground swelling of people being like, did you see what my little brother was watching?
Yeah.
We got to check this out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's unbelievable. We find out really quickly in this episode that there's in the Muddy Mud Skipper show, that there's going to be a contest to win $47 million, and it's presented by a Gritty Kitty Litter. And all you need to do to win that $47 million is write a poem of 47 million words or less.
Or less.
Or less.
Luckily.
Telling us why you love Gritty Kitty Litter. You could win $47 million, a lifetime supply of goat cheese, 12-hour record set of the top hits of the 70s, but best of all, a trip to Hollywood and a guest appearance on the Muddy Mud Skipper show.
Best of all.
Best of all.
The best of all.
And Stimpy is literally over the moon. It blasts off.
It blasts off.
He completely blasts off.
47 million, but as soon as it gets to that final part where he's going to be on the show,
did you like how he was eating his hands with every prize that came
going further down? Yeah, that was hilarious.
I love the bit with the 12 record set from the top hits of the 1970s. That really plays on watching TV in the summertime as a kid with the pure disco or pure 80s, or Time Life, whatever. Are those commercials even on TV anymore?
I don't think so.
But
I guess I wouldn't know too much.
Really watch cable anymore.
Yeah, shout out YouTube TV. I record and skip commercials.
For real. Shout out YouTube TV.
But yeah, I definitely remember all the now one and all the way up to whatever.
Oh yeah.
Now
49.
Now 49.
Now 374. The top hits of 2021. 2100, I should say. I'm just going to edit that part out. Well, I guess now it's time for Stimpy to write that poem. Would you like me to read the poem verbatim? I did transcribe it. Should I read it verbatim?
Read it verbatim.
Okay. Gritty Kitty ain't so pretty, but it's really thick. It fills my cat box oh so snug. It always does the trick. I like to rub it on my toes and squish and squish and squish. It ne'er offends my tender nose like a smelly fish. Its texture is a joy to me. It's just as smooth as silk. It makes my little whiskers twitch. It stays crunchy even in milk. Thanks, Ren.
Okay.
I did like how Ren just kind of threw that out to mock Stimpy, and he's like, oh, I can't. Thank you, Ren.
Yeah. It was good for a while.
Right.
Till the end of that, I was actually pretty surprised that Stimpy put that together.
Right, for real. So he's made that, he's got that poem all folded up now. He's jamming it into that letter and licking all those stamps, and then the tongue gag with the stamps coming out. Just,
I'm telling you, if you put that letter in the box, I'll lose all respect for you.
Hey, that's a very good Ren Hoek. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
It's Hawk. Ren says no one wins these contests, but Stimpy wants to meet Muddy Mud Skipper, and Stimpy mails it anyways, even though Ren threatened him. And Ren is never going to forgive him. Nope, not going to do it. Nope, not going to do it. So next scene, once again insinuating that Ren and Stimpy may be more than friends. They go to bed together, and Ren is grumbling like an angry married partner. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, definitely.
The next morning, though, Ren wakes up, and he seems like he wants to apologize. Don't go to bed angry, right? You might wake up angry, but the doorbell rings, and so he goes to the door. Are you Stimpson J. Cat? Oh, you want Stimpy? He's in there. I'll go get him. Well, could you tell him he's won $47 million? $47 million? I'm the cat!
Oh, this is great.
It's hilarious.
Hilarious.
Like, Ren is such a genius freak of a character.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, Ren, just unbelievable. He goes as far as eating the cat litter. Just crunching on that cat
a little
litter.
too far. But something Stimpy would do.
Something Stimpy does.
Something Stimpy does.
Well, too bad for Ren, though, the TV guy. He's not buying it whatsoever, and Stimpy ends up coming on with him, and he gets to ride along with some hot babes. Hot babes in that limo.
Apparently that's upsetting to a dog.
And I didn't realize Stimpy had an interest in human women. So
I didn't either.
Ren is absolutely destroyed, and he's sad because he lost his life partner.
Yeah.
Quickly, we're in Hollywood, and you get that Kirk Douglas cameo, which is just weird, right?
Yeah.
So Chris Falusi must be a big fan of classic Kirk Douglas, because just Kirk Douglas head popping up and then head going down. Just okay, great, sure, whatever.
Okay.
Stimpy and Muddy Mud Skipper now. Stimpy can't believe it. Muddy Mud Skipper is his idol. You ever breathe oxygen? Good, don't start. Stimpson J. Cat, 5 minutes to airtime. You're a lousy bum. The Muddy Mud Skipper, I'm not quite sure who he's supposed to be parroting. Maybe like Andy Rooney. Not Andy Rooney. Yeah, Andy Rooney. Is that the guy I'm thinking of? Whatever. We'll say Andy Rooney. I think that's wrong, but we'll say Andy Rooney anyways. Yeah, I don't know exactly, but I think that's who he's supposed to be parroting. Stimpy's going to go get a makeover now, and he gets new eyes. Sure, new sexy eyes.
Yeah.
Makeup aplenty, and then that cute little wig. Ding.
Ding.
And then it's time for him to go on stage. There's a new ace in Hollywood today. He's fresh. He's redundant. His whole career depends on this next important message. Doesn't go well.
No.
Well, that microphone hits him right in the nose, right?
Yep.
So now it flashes straight over to a PSA/commercial type of thing. So is this supposed to be Stimpy after he's won the contest doing a commercial, or is it just an unrelated like bumper bit that is in the show?
So somehow I thought of it as an unrelated, but now that you say that, I'm guessing it's supposed to be him after.
I think it's supposed to be him, but I didn't really think about that until yesterday when I was watching this. I was like, it goes right from the microphone to the commercial, so I don't know if that was intended or not, but I suppose you could definitely read it as it being like that, or an unrelated bit.
Yeah.
Because they do the cartoon, they do the commercials.
The moral of the story is the bit is hilarious. and I couldn't, that's why I couldn't think of anything else, because they do so many of these examples that are horrible things for kids to do because they're going to get in trouble. And they just act like, this is what you should do. Just dump out all the cereal boxes and get the toys.
Speaking of toys out of cereal boxes, is that even a thing anymore?
I have not. I still buy cereal a lot, and I don't see them very often.
I don't eat a lot of cereal, but I have a 6-year-old, so she eats cereal, and she picks out her cereal box, and the most I ever see is like, do this QR code and go to our website.
Yeah, the only ones I know recently is when General Mills has Pokemon cards.
Yes.
I go hard on
Yes, I did know. Actually, I did know about that. Do you remember any of the prizes you may have gotten from cereal boxes as a kid?
For sure. Like the Lion King spoon that changed
Nice.
with the milk
Had it,
or whatever.
had it.
Yep, definitely. That's the first one that comes to mind that was actually cool.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of junk.
Yeah, a lot of junk for sure. The one that really sticks out in my mind was they had Dino, the purple dinosaur, on the top of a box of Fruity Pebbles.
Really?
Yeah, it was like in this little windowed box on top of the cereal box, and I still have that thing somewhere.
Nice.
Every once in a while I run across it, I'm like, oh, it's Dino.
It's Dino.
There was that one, and then there was, for Sugar Smacks, you could we did it one time. My dad was like, let's do this. It'll be fun. Where we saved up, I think it was like 15 box tops. That's the number that sticks out in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And you mailed them in, and I got a Sugar Smacks cereal bowl.
Nice.
And it just had like the Post people on it around the outside.
Sure. It wasn't like one of the bowls that had the straw on the side.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember it having a straw.
Still, that's pretty cool.
I remember it making it through the dishwasher maybe 3 or 4 times before all of the pictures had been completely washed off of it, though. So it was just a white plastic bowl after
It's funny
a while.
that your dad urged you to do that.
He always did that stuff. You know, it's funny. Like whenever there would be like a kids call now and enter this contest for like Micro Machines or Hot Wheels or something. He's like, call. And, you just get those stupid automated messages like you've been entered. Blah 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 blah. Like, whatever. But he was always really like, do it.
That's funny though.
Yeah, he was really into that stuff. Always looking for something like that. He still plays. I mean, it makes sense then, I guess. He still plays he buys the Publisher Clearinghouse stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So that's how you get entered in their drawing, is you buy their junk.
Yeah.
So he still does that. For Christmas, we'll get these like a bag that has like random junk in it, and I'm like, oh, this is all the stuff you bought over the year. Now you're just giving it to us. Like range finders for golf courses, and like little LED flashlights, and like multi-tools, and
plenty of pens and mini calendars.
yes, all of that junk, all of that
tote bags,
tote bags, all of that stuff. But to get back to the episode, I guess, Stimpy ends up with a Muddy Mudskipper cereal bowl caddy.
Yeah.
Great job.
Great job.
Next segment. So both of these episodes, it's kind of like one half-an-hour episode.
Yes, these go together.
Yes, they're very related to each other, and that's not the norm for Ren and Stimpy.
Definitely not the norm.
So it's interesting because it even barely presents itself as 2 separate segments. It just shows the title card for the big shot, for a split second. There's nothing else in between it.
Yeah, the most recent time I rewatched it, I was like, am I on the first episode still or second? But yeah. And it's weird that's, I mean, we'll find out later it wasn't the original pilot episode.
Right.
But that it's the pilot and they go together, but it's not what they continue to do throughout the show.
Right, exactly.
But it's cool. I like this episode.
Yeah, me too. It's got a lot of higher production value than some of the other episodes.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like it was trying to make a good first impression.
Right.
This segment opens up with Ren batching it. So he hasn't bathed in 3 weeks. That's a little excessive. Maybe I'll skip a day or two, but not 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, I take that back. When I broke my leg, I didn't bathe. I think it was almost a month. Like,
Woo!
It was seriously almost a month. And the last thing I had done before I broke my leg was play hockey.
Right.
So, I mean,
so a little pungent.
Little pungent. Yeah. Well, I remember my wife, she would sit next to me at night, and one night she's like, I can't sit next to you anymore. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I cannot go take a bath. So she gave me baby wipes and kind of did the trick. But
nice.
I did end up taking a shower eventually. Have you ever seen what you use for a shower for that? It's like this big plastic bag that you pull up over. It's this weird thing. It's got like a rubber neck on it so it fits tightly around your leg.
Sure.
And you pull it all the way up to like your hip. It's just this big giant plastic thing.
Oh my gosh.
Inconvenient, but I needed a shower badly.
Yeah.
Ren is wondering if there's any Chinese food left in the fridge. And on his way to the fridge, we see that his trailer is a complete disaster. He runs into Stimpy's catnip mouse. It almost makes Ren miss Stimpy, but he just punches that thing out of there. And then the thing that does it for him is stepping on one of Stimpy's hairballs.
Yep.
Hideous.
Hideous.
Memories. I wonder what the old boy is doing now. And then he puts that dang thing right in his pocket.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hideous.
Yuck.
Now we get to move on to that ultra iconic grocery store gritty kitty commercial that anybody that's ever watched TV should know about, right?
Yeah, obviously.
ultra iconic. I'll just say this. No, sir, I don't like it. That's
no,
all,
sir, I don't like it.
That's all you need. That's all you need. And obviously, the horse, Mr. Horse, is a paid actor, right?
Yes, yes, obviously.
looks right at the camera. He's like, "Nope, I'm just a normal guy," or something like that. I don't remember exactly what he says. And it's funny too because he says, "Wait till I tell the missus about this."
Yeah.
And the ding when he ends up taking the dump in the litter box. Ding! There's the bell.
There's the bell.
But we get to go back home now with Ren, and he isn't getting any sleep because everything is reminding him of Stimpy. You're haunting me, and then the pillow breaking the fourth wall. He's talking to pillows, kids. Just kind of a weird little bit that was put in there, but it was funny enough. Then the kitty litter pool. What a hunk with Stimpy. Look at that manly physique. And then the kitty litter dive, which is absolutely hideous.
Yes.
He loves his cat litter. And the consistency of that cat litter to be able to swim through it means it's probably just soaked in piss.
Yeah. Oh, Stimpy.
Oh, Stimpy. We get to go back to Ren at home, and he's like, I'll watch some TV. Maybe it'll help me relax. Oh, boy. That stuff is just so golden from Ren, and you'd think that it would get old. But it just doesn't. It's funny
doesn't.
every time.
Yeah. It's even funnier when you think about the fact that it's a Chihuahua.
Right.
Because they always bark louder than the size of the dog.
You know, I've never really thought about that before, but that really explains. That's a very smart take from you, A, and then also from John K. to be like, he's a Chihuahua. Of course he's going to be over the top and aggressive when he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, man. I like that a lot. But, you know, Stimpy ends up basically being on every channel. My two favorite channels that he was on, or two programs, was, what was it? Sergeant Stimpy of the Klondike. And then, of course, Ask Dr. Stupid.
Yep.
Ask Dr. Stupid is the best.
Definitely.
I'm glad that turns into a bit, you know, eventually within the show.
Right.
We get to go back to the Muddy Mud Skipper show, and we're doing with Stimpy and the Muddy Mud Skipper. He gets first billing on it. He's doing a Yogi Bear parody, like obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then his Stimpy's first line, "Jane, stop this thing," is from the Jetsons.
Yep.
And then "Well, blow me down" is Popeye. And then "I'm hunting for a rabbit" is Elmer Fudd.
Yep.
And is this a tribute or is it poking fun at all of these other, you know, legacy animated shows?
I feel like it's a tribute.
I think so,
I think
too.
these shows are too good or like renowned as decent cartoons to be making fun of them.
It would make sense for John K. to pay tribute to those cartoons because that's what he would have grown up on, is that stuff in the 60s.
That makes a lot of sense.
I think it's definitely a tribute too. Maybe a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek tribute, maybe mocking it a little bit, showing how ridiculous that it actually was. But overall, I think it's a tribute. We get to go backstage with Muddy Mud Skipper now, and he's talking to Stimpy at this point. "Hey, kid, you did all right. You're a lousy bum." And then he asks, Muddy Mud Skipper asks Stimpy, "What's the matter?" And Stimpy's just bawling. He's, "Hey, kid, I don't get it. You got $47 million. You got my TV contract. What more could you want?" And what does he want?
Ren.
He wants Ren.
Obviously.
Adorable.
How sweet.
How sweet. So Stimpy goes back home, and he's obviously dressed like a hobo. Which, I mean, he didn't keep any of that money for himself. And you get that cute reunion. "Pal, buddy, pal, buddy. What did you do with all your money?" "I gave it all away. For me, for you." "You gave away $47 million. Give me your best, you idiot," because that's his line. "You idiot." That's so good, dude. I need you to do all the Ren parts from now on. So now it's time to end the show, and they're going to use that canned ending that is in almost, I'm assuming, in every episode. I can't think of it not being at the end of any episode. And we're going to go through it at this point and then probably skip over it for the rest of the episodes that we're going to do today. So you can start it off there.
So long, kids. Come on, Stimpy, say goodbye.
Where are we going?
The show's over. See you next time.
Next time? When's that?
Pretty soon, don't worry.
Pretty soon. How long is that?
In a little while, man.
A little while? What'll we do till then?
You could shampoo the rug, eat your creamed asparagus.
Stimpy doesn't when he's the head shaking with that. That's really funny. He's not into that at all. So
No.
So Ren gives Stimpy some gritty kitty, and Stimpy takes a piss. I mean, that's what happens. That's exactly what happens.
Oh, man.
Goodbye, folks. Goodbye, folks. And roll credits on that one.
Roll credits.
That's a good way to start out a series, if you ask me. That's a good way to start out a series.
Yeah, definitely.
So episode 2 now, 2A, is Robin Hoek. And I actually I was watching these on my computer and taking some notes on them. Evie came downstairs while I was working on the podcast, and she asked me what I was watching. And I was like, I'm watching Ren and Stimpy. You want to come sit on my lap and watch some Ren and Stimpy? And it happened to be this episode. So she watched the whole 12-minute segment. She didn't watch the whole thing, but she was enamored by it. And I asked her, I was like, what did you think of Ren and Stimpy? And she goes, good. And I'm
good.
like, oh, all right. So maybe there's some more Ren and Stimpy in our future.
Nice.
This episode also opens up with a very iconic bit with Powdered Toast Man.
Very iconic.
Super iconic.
One of the first things I think of when I think of Ren and Stimpy.
Powdered Toast Man.
Powdered
Toast Man.
How he just scratches like crumbs off himself that formulates into real toast.
I love that. I love that. I wonder what product John K. particularly may be parodying in that.
Yeah.
I know, like, in the 60s, in the 50s and the 60s, like, all the products were like products of the future. This is the future. That Art Deco futuristic type of thing. So it has something to do probably with like space food and stuff like that. Powdered toast, whatever.
Yeah.
I like how when he enters the scene, hello, fellows, you had a powdered toast again? I just love that bit. And Powdered Toast Man is definitely toasterific.
Toasterific.
And it's just simply weird. It's just simply zany. Like, it's so off the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that basically about all of Ren and Stimpy, but
basically.
I really enjoy the craziness of Powdered Toast Man.
Me too.
Super duper enjoy it. This is a Stimpy's Storybook Land segment, and it's time for Ren and Stimpy to go to bed together again. They're both praying before bed. Please bless Grandma and Grandpa.
Please give me a fridge with a padlock.
And, oh yeah, huge pectoral muscle.
That's great.
And then Stimpy, being the good friend that he is, please watch out for my best pal, Ren. He's not strong. And that close-up of Stimpy's butt before they get into bed because he needs to have his back door buttoned up.
Right.
And then he timidly goes over to Ren and asks him if he will read him a bedtime story. And
read it yourself.
Read it yourself. Your impression is spot on, man. I love that thing. That's great. So Stimpy does, but it's pretty dang obvious that Stimpy can't read.
Yeah, because the book is upside down, for God's sake.
And he's just making it up as he goes along. Ren is sleeping, and we're kind of watching his like pseudo dream thing, right? That's what it's supposed to be, because Stimpy's telling the story, Ren's half falling asleep. Have you ever done that thing where you're kind of like half falling asleep and you get like weird thoughts and weird things that are like just so out there that's
definitely
like, where does this even come from?
Yeah, you're like mixed between reality and dreaming somehow.
Yeah, like in the evening, if Kristen's not ready to go to bed, I'll usually still go to bed at the same time that she does, but I'll like I'm gonna lay down and close my eyes, but you can keep the light on, whatever.
Sure.
So I'll fall into that weird like limbo, half awake, half sleep. And she asked me, she's like, "Is it all right if I turn on the fan tonight?" And then all of a sudden I start thinking about Ace of Base. And then like the brunette from Ace of Base is like the fan blades on the fan. And I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, that was very bizarre. And I told Kristen about it and she's like, that doesn't even make any sense. And I'm like, no, I know it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I didn't say it made sense.
Very bizarre. The brunette from Ace of Base was the fan blades on our fan. It was just the weirdest thing ever. Weirdest thing ever. But we get to head in deep into Logwood Forest where Robin Horek, as he says, right? Horek?
Yeah, Horek.
Lives. And he has the finest of green leotards. But we'll forgive him. That's a hilarious line.
Yeah,
we'll forgive him.
We'll forgive him.
He's the finest archer in the land. He shot a melon into the air. No, a chicken. No, wait, it was a moose.
A moose.
I've got a huge laugh out of that. She's like, it turned into a moose?
Yeah.
It's a very funny bit.
Definitely.
Absolutely enjoy that. And then we get what I think is the best part. It takes up the bulk of the segment, but I think it's the best part of the segment. The band of Merry Man, all played by Stimpy.
Yeah, yeah.
Friar Chuck. Then there was Little Brain, Ransack the Elder, Elkhorn the Downtrodden, and the lovely Maid Moron. It's so funny how he runs all the way over to the castle and changes the clothes. It's like really channeling that inner Looney Tune bit.
Yeah.
Like I could have seen Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, the Wile E. Coyote, any number of Looney Tune characters could have done that exact same thing in a Looney Tunes cartoon. But then he forgot the last merry man, the loyal Will Truncheon. So Stimpy runs back. The music used in Ren and Stimpy is great. I absolutely love the music that is used. It just makes, I've said it a lot, but it makes me really think of Looney Tunes, and I think that's what he's going for. I think that's what John K. was going for.
Yeah, definitely.
But then we get to see that Robin and his gang steal from the rich and give to the cheerleaders. The criminally insane. Oh no! Wait, they give to the poor. Did you like how the dad gets the money and he looks at his wife and kids and then he's like, "And I'm out of here."
And I'm out of here later.
That's not cool. Funny, but not cool.
Funny, but not cool.
Now we're in the castle with Maid Moron that's being held by the evil sheriff of Dodge City. Then Robin literally flies to the castle. Literally flies.
Literally.
Did you see that his butt was hanging out during the flying sequence?
I didn't notice.
His butt's hanging out. It's it must be purposely uncolored to look like his shorts because it just looks like his butt's hanging out as he's flying by. I was like, oh, there's Ren's butt. Boy, and then Stimpy's telling the story. Was he scared? No way. He was all naked and raring to go. Okay, Stimpy. Okay. It was a dangerous moat, swarming with man-eating monks.
Monks.
He says it's so weird. Monks.
Monks.
He says it's so weird. And then the eye gag with Ren is hilarious. Cripes, man. Let's beat it. Murdered that. Cripes, man. Let's beat it. That was very funny. And Evie, the last time I'm going to mention Evie because I don't want to talk to my daughter during the whole podcast. But she looked at me and goes, "What happened to his eyes?" And I'm like, "You need to watch more Looney Tunes, kid."
Yeah, definitely. That's a sign.
Ren does make it across to the foot of Maid Moron's tower after being mauled by the monks. He hearkened unto her. Hark, hark, hearkened he.
That is my favorite part of the episode. I died laughing every time I watched that. Hark, hark, hearkened he. I just love that so much.
Will you read the next one in your best Ren, the next line?
"Oh, fairest Maid Moron, let you down silken your hair."
One single strand
of
hair. And Ren loves it. It's a hilarious bit. Ends up being a nose hair. Very grotesque.
Very grotesque.
And then then Stimpy, Maid Moron, snorts Ren up into her nose. Gag worthy for sure.
Super gag worthy.
My hero. Now the evil sheriff is all that is standing in the way of Robin Hoek and Maid Moron. So what did Robin Hork do? He unsheathed his turkey baster and thrust a generous portion of giblet gravy unto he, directly in the eyeball. Gravy to the eyeball is surprisingly funny. Surprisingly funny.
Definitely.
It's surprisingly funny and is unsettling, too, at the same time, especially since he doesn't blink while that gravy's hitting him in the eye.
Yeah.
Just takes it. Thou hast besquirted me, O leotarded one, thy maiden be thy. And they were married. I do like how Stimpy stuck with the bit after he was like, and now I pronounce you husband and wife, and he climbs over the podium to change into the maid moron.
Yeah.
That's a very funny wink to the audience and fourth wall breaking. Ren wakes up to a horrific scream and sweating bullets. Thank goodness it was only a dream. But was it? Because Stimpy is wearing makeup and a dress. So
yeah.
Next segment.
Nurse
Stimpy is segment 2, so 2B in episode 2. This opens up with the secret headquarters bit, the secret headquarters thousands of miles beneath the Earth's crust. Shut up, you fool! Did you ever literally take the oath while watching it as a kid? Like, did you go up to the TV, put your hand on the TV, and try to repeat the oath?
I really feel like I probably did.
I know I did. I know I did.
When I was watching that, I was like, why does this seem like I put my hand on?
Because you probably did.
Because I probably did.
And then when you put your hand on those CRT TVs, it'd be all like crackly and staticky and stuff like that. Oh man, I wanted to watch it on the CRT that I have just so I could go up and do it.
Right.
It's time for a secret cartoon. So all of these little interstitial bits before and after the episodes, they're all like canned, like pre-made stuff. Really cuts down on the amount of stuff that you have to actually produce for a new episode.
Yeah, right.
So smart writing, smart idea by John Kay and crew, but it's kind of a cop-out. But when you're doing traditional animation and you're trying to turn these episodes around really quickly, I can't imagine trying to animate, they're already animating 8 to 10 minutes per segment besides the other bits. And if you're trying to do even more than that, it must be super labor intensive to just continue that forever and ever and ever.
Right.
So it makes sense to do it, but as an adult, you're like, oh, well, that's just taking away from the episode, but it's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Ren is sick, and Stimpy is going to take care of him. That's the whole crux of this episode, and this episode is chock full of gruesome close-ups.
Yeah.
Chock full of them.
A lot of them.
A lot of them. Even some like weird pseudo ones where they're like, it looked like they almost wanted to have one there, but they didn't have one made, so they just tried to make the actual scene look like one, There's a couple of weird pseudo ones. Especially those first ones with Ren's eyes, mouth, and nose. Those were very crusty and gross.
Yes.
But you could when you see it, you're like, yeah, I've felt like that before.
Yeah.
Nurse Stimpy to the rescue. Now it's time to do some tests. Did you like the nose medical bag?
Yeah. That was great.
That's very funny. Open wide, Ren. Let's get a look at those glands. Why did they have top hats?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, I guess, to make them look fancy.
I guess.
I want fancy glands.
Yeah.
Fancy glands.
Fancy glands.
And then the blood pressure bit, which is a good piece of physical comedy that always gets a laugh, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen that once, you've seen that a million times, and a million different variations of a blood pressure gag. So now it's time for your medicine, Ren. Open up. And I love how he screams. You want to scream that for me? Because that's another...
Get on with it, man.
That's another classic Ren line. Patience, you must have the correct dosage. The giant spoon bit is hilarious.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that giant spoon. Isn't it tasty?
That's some icky tasting stuff. What is that anyway?
Why, it's all-purpose icky tasting medicine.
And it actually says that on the bottle. I love that so much.
And he just chucks it and winks at the camera like, yeah, I know, I'm torturing him.
I know.
But finally, it's bath time because Ren stinks because he's been sick for months at this point. I'm pretty sure wasn't there a calendar flip through at one point already?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Ren, take off your clothes. What did you think of this sequence?
Disturbing.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
It is weird, yeah.
I thought it was really odd, and using embarrassment as comedy doesn't land well with me.
Yeah.
It just is not my bit. I did get a little bit of a laugh out of Stimpy holding Ren and him like washing him and stuff like
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
did get a little bit of a laugh out that. Mostly Ren was concerned about people seeing it or knowing that it had happened, the bath.
Right.
And guess what? The whole neighborhood was watching.
Yeah.
He doesn't know it at this point, but he finds out the next morning when he has breakfast in bed. He gets the coffee, he gets the paper. Ren Hoek takes bubbly sponge bath, hundreds witness soapy scenario.
I love that. Hundreds. Like, that's so
Hundreds.
huge.
Who do you think that was that read that? Because it was a completely off-book voice for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be cool to know who that was.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably says in the credits, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I should have looked that up, I guess. This causes a complete relapse. Ren's condition seems to get worse and worse and worse, and Stimpy's breaking down mentally over the stress. He looks really disturbed by it. And
Yeah.
Ren's like in an iron lung. You know what I mean?
Right.
But guess what? He goes to bed and wakes up fine the next morning.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Completely healthy. Who cares? And now it's Stimpy that's sick. How the tables have turned.
Now it's my turn.
He's drooling with excitement, with revenge. Drooling with revenge.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I didn't particularly like this segment.
Yeah, this is the least awesome episode of
Yeah,
all, for sure.
You could probably single out this segment as
This,
being
yeah,
the
right.
least
This
one.
segment. I
Yeah.
love the last segment.
Yes.
But yes, I agree.
So we get that closing now, and it's the same bit as before, but the things that Ren suggests are getting Stimpy could get his teeth drilled. He could read a book.
Yeah.
Is that speaking directly to the audience at that point? You could read a book, you know?
Right. Like, we can suggest some good things.
And then finally he suggests he could play with his magic nose goblins. I picked them myself. So if you had to estimate, because you watched it on the DVD, right?
Yep.
And I watched it on Paramount Plus, how long do you think that final scene where they pan across the underneath of that table, how long do you think that lasted on your DVD?
Only like 10 seconds or something.
I knew it because in the Paramount Plus, they cut the video after about 3 seconds of it panning across the boogers.
Sure.
And then there's just black screen until it hits the credits.
That's weird.
And so I'm like,
So-
you cut out like drawn boogers?
Drawn boogers?
That was too offensive, some boogers? Like,
Out of all the things they've been throwing at us?
yeah, it was just a weird choice because when it cut away and then there was just a weird blank, just black screen, and then it hit the credits, I'm like, that isn't right because
Yeah.
it transitioned for you directly from the table to the credits, right?
Correct, yep.
Yeah, so I thought so. Paramount Plus.
Yeah, you see a bunch of different size and shape ones. Apparently Paramount Plus has a booger quota, and they met it at 3 boogers.
They met it at 3 boogers. It was literally 3 seconds. If we have time, I may show it to you so you can see it.
Yeah.
All right, episode 4A, Fire Dogs. I love this episode. We get to start with asking Dr. Stupid, Dear Dr. Stupid, why do I have to go to school? Let me put on my patented Stupometron helmet. That thing just explodes on his head. The answer is simple, really. Your parents are aliens, and while you're at school, they shed their skins and breathe dryer lint.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Dr. Stupid.
Thank you, Dr. Stupid.
So now we're at the heart of the episode here, and this one opens up to a destitute Ren and Stimpy on the street. They're both starving, and Stimpy gives Ren his last morsel of food. Ren really savors it.
That was delicious. What was it?
It was my last grain of kitty litter. I've been saving it for weeks. That's not good for Ren.
Not good for Ren.
And he really crunches on that and
Oh.
savors it.
Yeah.
But luckily for our duo there, the fire department is looking for Dalmatians. And also, good thing, Ren has some Dalmatian paint.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love when cartoons just pull stuff from off screen. Just pull it from off screen. Just pull it from off screen. Infinite things from off screen.
Dalmatian paint.
Slap bam. Ren and Stimpy are now Dalmatians. Time to get that job at the fire station. Knock, knock, knock on the fire chief's door. I've had it up to here with the likes of you people. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were circus M words. I'm not going to say it because I'm pretty sure that that's inappropriate to say nowadays.
I think
right?
so.
And it's still on Paramount Plus, but they got a problem with boogers.
Well, they got a problem with boogers.
So I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And you get the patented like that ooh music because he's all crazy and stuff. I really enjoy that. Oh, what can I do for you?
Your troubles are over. It is we who is your fire dogs.
Stimpy almost blows it, but Ren, I'm a cat.
Don't listen to him. He's a good guy, but he's not right in the head.
I've known fellers like that.
I love that.
Ooh. Just that weird music again. That music is well used in this whole series.
Yeah, it is.
That whole bit is pretty creepy and off-putting, but I love the weirdness of it. Just the straight weirdness. Well, boys, you got yourself a job, but you're going to work! We get that funny bit with Stimpy's animation loop to fill time in the episode. I mean, it's just, if you're going to show the same 5-second animation loop for 15 seconds, you are killing time.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Relax, man. Do you know what the odds are that there will ever be a fire? 1,000,000 to 1.
And the fire bell rings.
Oh, joy.
Your Ren and Stimpy are amazing. That was awesome, man. You're doing them both from now on. No, I'll keep doing Stimpy.
Yeah, you gotta keep doing the Stimpy. I don't know how I pulled that Stimpy.
That was really, really good. So you're the next Billy West, right? That's for sure, because he does them both.
Yeah, he does.
He does them both. He switches. Have you ever seen video of him switching back and forth?
It's incredible.
It's incredible. Billy West is a treasure.
Yeah.
Is a treasure. So this whole next segment with them doing the fire rescue is a great multi-level parody.
Yeah.
So they're doing a parody of cartoons that did a parody of disaster movies and television shows.
Yeah.
So it's like one step ahead. I'm thinking 3 steps ahead here, or something like that. I really enjoyed that forethought to really put something together that, I don't know if witty's the right word, but that type of depth into a kid's show.
Yeah.
I really like that a lot. Oh, please, save my baby. Save my horse. And then the horse lands right on the legs.
Right on the legs.
So brutal.
Brutal.
Not even for Ren and Stimpy. It's so brutal for the horse.
Yeah, definitely.
So brutal. And then we get him crawling across to that, to like the Civil War music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he gets that interview. Excuse me, Mr. Horse. What are your feelings on that fall?
No, sir. I don't like it.
And then right after that, save my walrus, save my elephant. At this point, Ren and Stimpy have given up and they're just letting themselves get smashed with this
over
stuff.
and over, yeah.
And then finally, the damsel in distress wants them to save her. Save me! And Ren heads up that ladder, and Stimpy's cranking that thing away, and it looks like Ren's gonna break the sound barrier or something, heading up to that window in that skyscraper. He makes it up there. He looks down, and he passes out because it looks like it's about 100 stories up in the air.
Yeah.
So it's time for that big lady to save the day. She just grabs Ren in her teeth and starts flying down that ladder because with her weight on the ladder, Stimpy can no longer hold the crank down at the bottom.
Right.
That butt was a flapping. Or whatever it sounded like. It was pretty close to that, right? Pretty close. It almost looked like her butt was getting superheated to the point of like re-entry of a spacecraft, right?
Yeah.
And then blammo, they crash to the ground, causing all the buildings basically to crumble. And she says, with Ren on the ground and her on the ground, "Oh, my brave little man." And she gives him some CPR.
And then you get that gruesome close-up.
That hideous, gruesome close-up. That was a super detailed one.
Very detailed. Too much detail for me.
And then Stimpy, who got his helicopter pilot's license, is going to save the day with a giant bag of gritty kitty litter. I think it just said kitty litter, not gritty kitty, but whatever.
We assume it's gritty kitty.
And you boys are heroes, and I thought you were bums. They get to get the sacred golden firefighter helmets. I'm so happy I can hardly contain myself. Neither can I. And then the whole lineup of people, or of dogs, including the large lady, to pee on their heads.
Right.
Next segment.
Next segment.
The Littlest Giant. It's 4B, episode 4, segment B. Segment B. Opens up with log for girls. I'll comb her hair. I'll do her makeup. What recycles a bit better than log? They just put like 30 seconds on it, not even, and then they reran the old commercial.
Yeah.
So not only do they run the original log thing in these episodes, but they also run log for girls.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're in the same episode.
It's so good, though.
It is really, really good. They hate their other toys. I don't want my dolly.
Yeah.
Log for girls.
Log.
Oh, boy. Log is the best. It's another Stimpy Storybook Land episode, so it's the same setup as Robin Hoek. Like I said before, it's a smart writing decision when they do these opening bits and stuff like that, and especially for these the Storybook Land ones, there's like an infinite number of variations on fairy tales that you could do forever.
Right.
Forever and ever and ever and ever. If it involved a unicorn or a princess or a archer, you can make a episode about it.
Definitely.
So
yeah.
It's funny. It's a cool take on that type of stuff, and it's it's something that Looney Tunes did, was taking classic stories and putting their treatment on them.
Right.
So another nod to
and
that.
in
type
this
of
one, he reads the storybook the correct way.
He does.
It's right side up. So,
he does. He's still making it up, though.
Yeah, obviously.
There were two things that were slightly different in this episode compared to the last one. Stimpy did not ask for Ren to be looked after. That was taken out, where he says, because he ain't strong. So that part was cut off. And then when they do the close-up on Stimpy's butt in the background, the background was green in this episode, and it was orange in the last episode.
Oh, okay.
So a couple of little changes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Stimpy still can't read, like you said, but he's at least holding the book the correct way this time.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there lived a giant, the littlest giant. He's barely enormous. Some good, just straight up slapstick comedy, cartoon comedy right here, and it's all at Stimpy's expense. It's obvious that Stimpy's the butt of all the jokes of the other giants, and he's forced to run away. His life in Hugevania was unbearable. I enjoy that the place was called Hugevania.
Me too. That's great.
Poor Stimpy. So now we get this weird prolonged crying segment in a kid's show, all for a snot joke. I mean, I like it, but a kid could easily be put off by watching Stimpy cry for 10, 15 seconds.
Definitely.
He's just full on sobbing about nobody liking him.
Yeah.
It's just kind of an odd choice, which, goes to show that this show wasn't necessarily just pandering to 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
It had the idea of 25-year-olds at the time watching this. So
did whatever the hell he wanted.
It really did do whatever the hell he wanted. Stimpy writes his runaway letter. That's a thing, I guess. His runaway letter. I'm leaving, never to return. Your punching bag, the littlest giant. And he's crying the whole time. And then he eats it. Nobody gets to see it. He just eats it.
Yeah.
And then he says, chew, 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 while he eats the letter. I love the weirdness. Is that a reference, or does it have some other meaning, or is it just,
I don't know,
just weirdness for weirdness?
I think it's just weirdness for weirdness.
It was when he's like, chew, chew. I was just like, okay, this is getting weird. And the littlest giant is on his way off, never to return. He crosses a sea, a large inland lake. One of the two, right? One of the two just walks across because he's not that short, I guess. I don't know. He could have swam across the top. Whatever. I'm just moving on. Either way, he makes it to Thumbsville and enter Forlorn Ren. He's completely destitute. The town is a complete desert. His chicken's eggs are made of silt. His sow is frying, and his cow only gives powdered milk. But luckily for Ren, the next morning, he sees that the littlest giant is crying, and all of the tears from the littlest giant have filled up the well and saved the farm. The tear drinking, got a physical gag reflex from me when I would watch it.
Yeah.
It was just too gross.
Yeah.
It was too gross.
Yeah.
It really crossed that line. I don't know why, of all the things, that's what really got me. maybe because you can equate that to like drinking somebody's sweat.
Yeah.
It's just ultra hideous to me.
Super hideous.
Ultra hideous to me.
Oh, man. Now I'm thinking about a time I saw on a show where somebody drank someone's sweat.
What show is that?
The Challenge.
Yeah, it seems like something that would happen on the Challenge.
yeah. For
That's
$20.
For $20?
Yeah, she offered. She said she was low on money while they're gone on this challenge and did it for $20. A guy's sweaty shirt, he wrung it up into a cup and she drank.
Like more than a shot of alcohol, less than
more than a shot of alcohol. We're talking like an 8-ounce glass of water.
Are you kidding me?
No, it was so disgusting.
Oh.
So yeah, gag reflex for show.
All right.
All right, definitely moving on.
Yes. Ren, after Stimpy, the littlest giant, saves the farm, he feels indebted to him and says that he'll do anything for Stimpy. And Stimpy keeps asking Ren, anything? Really? Anything? To Ren's reply of,
yes, anything, you fat, bloated idiot.
You need to speak like Ren whenever we're around together because I love it. So Stimpy takes advantage of this, and so it's scratch my back, comb my hair, pluck my eyebrows, do my nails, mend my clothes, brush my teeth, and shave my tongue.
Shave my tongue.
Very well placed scream in the background when he says shave my tongue, because that is hideous.
Hideous.
And so the littlest giant's heart was filled with blood, and he was to live with Ren forever. But the snoring is a bad thing for Ren, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know why his nose has to sleep on the bed.
I don't know either.
But he does apparently need to sleep on the bed. And they lived happily ever after. So they get to move on to the ending segment. It's the same sequence as before, and Ren suggests,
you could clean your belly button. You could eat olive loaf till you puke.
And then Ren tells him that you could chase your tail until you're dizzy. But Stimpy doesn't have a tail.
He does not have a tail. Just do what I tell you, stupid.
So Stimpy does it and gets sick. He burps into the screen. It should have been barf, right?
It should have been barf.
It should have been barf. I bet it was supposed to be barf, but
Probably.
Nickelodeon said, no more barf.
A little too much barf.
No barf. Because
Yeah.
I could have seen barf flying out of Stimpy's mouth and just covering the screen, right? And
Yeah.
slowly trickling down.
That would have been a good way to end the episode.
I bet you that's what they wanted to do. Roll credits. Yep. All right, so now this is kind of our bonus episode. This is Big House Blues, and this originally aired along with the first segment. The first segment in this one, it was not the littlest giant.
It was Stimpy's big day.
Nope, it was Fire Dogs. Yes,
okay, I got you.
Yes.
The first one of this.
Yes, of this episode. This originally aired along with Fire Dogs and was later switched to Season 2, 10B in that one, but is not on Paramount, which I told you in my little interruption in the last podcast. So I hope you found this one and used the link to watch it if you couldn't find it on DVD. So this episode is like the real introduction to our characters, Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
This should have been the first episode. I mean, technically it's considered the pilot. Technically it's considered episode 0. But was originally aired with this the first time in 1991.
Mm-hmm.
So it opens with narration, which is not common at all besides this episode or maybe in the commercial parts of the episodes.
Right.
At least that we've watched so far. And it starts off with, the Asthma Chihuahua and the cat are natural enemies in the wild, but they have united in the face of adversity. Old Man Hunger has been gnawing at their bellies. Pretty unsettling, mostly nude old man with a drumstick for hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a weird thing. Such a weird thing.
Yeah.
But Ren and Stimpy found some bread, but Old Man Pigeon wasn't about to give up his meal, so he eats the bread off of their tongues. And then after that, Old Man Lady Luck just about ran out on these fellers. And our famous sewer grate scene from the opening In fact, which we talked about shortly, this episode is basically the opening credits to every Ren and Stimpy episode that you watch ever.
Right.
So every time you watch an episode of Ren and Stimpy, you get to watch the first episode.
Right.
It's all there.
It is all there in the intro. Yeah.
All the information that you need to know about Ren and Stimpy is in that introduction. So technically, you don't even ever need to see this episode, but it's still worth watching. It's definitely worth watching.
Oh, definitely.
Ren and Stimpy end up getting caught by the dog catcher. They get ran over and spatulaed off the pavement, just like in the opening. Hot diggity dog, I filled my quota for the day. Which the dog catcher turns out to be the narrator.
Right.
Which is just, maybe they didn't have enough voice actors because it seems kind of weird to me. But whatever, it works. It's fine. So on to being at the pound now. You boys like to have fun, don't ya? Yeah, sure, fun. Anything you say. Well, then go ahead and have some then.
Yeah.
And they love it. Food and shelter, 3 square meals a day. Nothing can go wrong here. Until Phil is taken away to be put down. And now it's obvious why this episode doesn't get played very often.
Yes, definitely.
You want to read the next one? The next line after that?
Hey, Jasper, where are they taking Phil?
He's going to sleep.
Oh, yeah, I could use a nap, too.
And after a good night's rest, Ren runs into Jasper again.
Where's Phil?
I told you, they put him to sleep.
You don't wake up from the big sleep.
Oh, that should have been me, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. You don't wake up from the big sleep. Ren did not take that very well. The big sleep! The big sleep! The big sleep! What's the big sleep, Ren?
He's dead. Do you know what that means? He's dead.
Now we see Ren and Stimpy the next day sitting in their cage. I think it's the next day, maybe just later that day, something like that. Stimpy hacks up a couple of hairballs and Ren gets adopted because of it.
Yeah.
The hacking and then the re-swallow when he's like, don't do it, man. Don't do it, man. And then he re-swallows it.
Oh, man.
So gross.
So gross.
I mean, we've all been in that situation where you've had to swallow your own barf before, right?
Obviously.
Ugh, boy, that is...
Makes me want to barf just thinking about it.
So hideous. Like when your cheeks fill all the way up and you just go, ugh. That's hideous.
Ooh.
And usually means it's coming right back up with...
Usually.
Maybe
with more barf.
With more barf. Maybe buy you 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah, maybe you were able to get to the toilet.
Maybe. Yuck. I feel like I need to brush my teeth just thinking about it. Mommy, I want that cute little poodle. And that's how Ren gets adopted, leaving Stimpy behind. I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. He can't believe it. He makes that little girl stop, though, and he says that you can't have me unless you take Stimpy, too. Okay. So now it's time for a life of domestication. Ren gets a sweater, Stimpy gets his litter box, and straight into Log for Girls. And it's kind of an extended cut of the Log commercial. Again, it's even a little bit longer than the last one. And roll credits. I think that's the only time that you get to see Mrs. Pipe.
Yeah.
I think that's the only time. So if you've ever wondered what Mrs. Pipe looks like, that's what she looks like. She's a redhead, if you didn't know. So I want your final opinions. I want you to tell me your favorite episode, your favorite bit, what you didn't like, what you hated, what you wish was different. You tell me whatever you want, Trav.
I really liked it.
Agreed.
No, but yeah, these episodes are great, and hopefully you liked this so far, and hopefully this makes you want to do the homework, because the homework is great. My favorite... I mean, there's so many good bits, but like I said, I laughed every time when he said, hark, hark, harkened he. I just loved Stimpy narrating that episode with the hark, hark, harkened he. Best episode out of all those. I really like that first episode, Stimpy's Big Day. I'd say either Stimpy's Big Day or the Fire Dogs episode is my favorite episode.
I would agree with you. I think the strongest episode is Stimpy's Big Day, that first episode. If it's not, I mean, for the higher animation quality alone, it makes it stand out to me. The fact that it's a cohesive 22-minute story, there's hardly any fluff in there whatsoever. I think I'll say that is my favorite episode, but Fire Dogs just is hilarious.
It's a hilarious.
It's extra weird. It's hilarious, and it's kind of an OG Ren and Stimpy. It's one of the Ren and Stimpy cartoons that you think of when you think of Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, most people who have seen the show would think back to that episode.
If they don't think of Fire Dogs, they'll think of what was the episode 3 that we skipped this time.
Oh yeah, Space Madness.
Yeah, you think of Space Madness,
which I did rewatch one of the times I watched through, at least just because it's a good episode.
Yeah, it's a really good episode. I can't wait to finish this season off, and I can't wait to do another season of Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, for sure.
Ren and Stimpy just holds such a high place. It's on such a pedestal for me when it comes to cartoons of my youth, cartoons of my 20s, cartoons of my 30s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just got that infinite rewatchability to it. And while some aspects of the episodes don't necessarily hold up with the M word being used and such like that, and the overt sexism that is used for comedy but still is pretty inappropriate.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't really hold up as well as it did at one time. I mean, it's not the 90s anymore. It's not 1991.
Right.
It's a long time ago. So I think you can still watch Ren and Stimpy, and I think you can watch it confidently. And while it's gross, it's weird, it's not overtly bad to watch.
Right. And you said you wouldn't bring her up again, but your 6-year-old watched this and she liked it. Yeah. So it is child appropriate sometimes.
It did say TVY7, but she watches PG stuff, so she could handle it.
Yeah, for sure.
I can never say enough good things about Ren and Stimpy. I just really can't.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Holds a special place in my heart. So.
And luckily, this entire series was in the 90s, so we'll have plenty more to come.
We will be getting to all of it.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting to talk about the difference once we get into season 3, because John K. was only around for seasons 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting when it kind of changes a little bit to see what we notice about it.
Yeah.
What we notice about it. Because ultimately, these first 2 seasons are kind of the smaller of the sample sizes for what the rest of the series was. Because there was 5 seasons, 6 seasons?
Yeah, 5
seasons.
Say,
so, I mean, it's the smaller majority of the 2. Do you have anything else you want to talk about with Ren and Stimpy before we move over to the homework assignment?
I think that does it.
Can't wait to hear that again someday. All right, let's do that homework assignment. This one comes to you, the dear listener, from a listener suggestion. Jacob Bases suggested Starship Troopers on our Facebook page. That's right, we have a Facebook page.
Dun, dun, dun.
Go to our Facebook page and interact with us on there. Sometimes we like stuff that people comment. Sometimes we comment back. Sometimes we don't. So go check it out. We love the interactions. So Starship Troopers was premiered November 4th, 1997, and then it was released nationwide November 7th, 1997. It was directed by Paul Verhoeven. The screenplay was by Ed Neunemeyer. It's based on Starship Troopers, a novel by Robert A. Heinlein, starring Casper Van Dien, Dina Meyer, Denise Richards, Jake Busey, yes, and that is Gary Busey's son, Jake Busey.
Oh, okay.
Neil Patrick Harris, gotta love Doogie Howser.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick Muldoon and Michael Ironsides. You remember where Michael Ironsides is also? What movie?
Well, the movie his name sounds familiar. So is it in something we did already?
Yes, it is.
Is it in a Batman movie?
Nope, not a
Dang
Batman
it.
movie. Not a
Dang
Batman
it.
movie. Not a Batman movie.
Not a Batman movie. And it's, I don't know. Or TMNT.
Nope, not
Dang
TMNT.
it. Dang
He was the other instructor with Tom Skerritt in
Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Top
I was
Gun.
going to say Top Gun.
He wasn't Viper. He was the other one.
Okay.
He wasn't Viper because that was Tom Skerritt.
Yep.
What was the other one? Viper and Merlin.
Merlin,
right?
No,
Merlin was Tim
Merlin
Robbins.
was one of them.
Was Tim Robbins. Viper and
Littering and I can't think of it. But Top Gun. That's another great episode. Go listen to that.
Yeah, that was a good one. That one is easily in the talk for top 3 best episodes we've done.
Oh, for sure.
The budget for Starship Troopers was $100 to $110 million. I don't know why there isn't an exact number on that, but
somewhere ballpark in there.
Whatever.
Give or take $10 million.
Who cares? Box office for that movie was $121 million, so that is $220.6 million in 2023. Thank you, U.S. inflation calculator. It is R-rated, so our next episode will be explicit. You can find it anywhere you can. It doesn't seem to be really on any streaming services. I saw that it was available. Starship Troopers is available on AMC Plus if you have that.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's for buy or rent, usually about that $3.99 mark. I'm going to go to Toontown again and try to find it there for cheap. So,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to do this movie. You've never seen it?
I've never seen it, so it's a great suggestion.
I've seen it a couple of times, but I mean, it was in 1997 when I probably saw it. I think I maybe have seen it year 2000. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Remember it being very tongue-in-cheek. It is considered a cult hit, so I'm excited to do it.
Me too. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Jake. Do you have any emails for us today?
Oh, I definitely got some emails for you.
Hit it up.
First one comes from That's a Fact. Wants to know, out of all the cool facts that you guys have discovered since starting this podcast, do you have a favorite?
Do I have a favorite? I think maybe not necessarily a straight up favorite fact, but all the information that we learned about those Batman movies and what went into them was really interesting.
It really
to me.
was.
All the behind the scenes stuff that went on for Batman, and then the transition from the Tim Burton Batmans to the Joel Schumacher Batmans, like the difference between them and learning about the way the stuff was produced. I really enjoyed that information a lot.
I agree.
It was really good.
It's kind of what got us started, too.
Yeah.
Diving so deep into that. So that's another one. If you haven't listened to that, at least go listen to that Batman Roundup. You'll get some great Arnold impersonations. And yeah, we do our best and worst lines of the movie. It's a great episode.
Yeah, and if you like Batman and you haven't listened to those episodes, there's 6 of them. So.
Yeah, there's plenty. There's plenty of content. Batman. For me, so I wrote down 2. One, most recently, the fact that Anthony Hopkins was only in 20 minutes
that
of
is
Silence
nuts.
of the Lambs. It's just still kind of blows my mind because that's who I think of when I think of Silence of the Lambs. And the other coolest one, there's been a lot of cool ones that you hit me with in these episodes, but that Keanu Reeves was also almost Casey Jones in TMNT is pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I think he would have done a great job.
Oh, definitely. And again, we don't have a problem with who they picked.
No.
But it's just Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves. I mean...
How do you think he would have played it? Do you think he would have played it like Bodhi from Point Break, like a surfer dude? Or do you think
I kind of think so.
Yeah, way more surfer guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. It would have been interesting.
It would have been.
Whoa, turtles!
Turtles, dude. Yeah, I mean, he might have been perfect.
It might have been perfect.
I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been perfect.
There we go. Seth Rogen's reboot. Who do you need for Casey Jones? Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
There you go. Next email here comes from Tom and Jerry. Email us to ask, who was or is your favorite in Ren and Stimpy? Is it Ren or Stimpy?
That's a tough question. I think I always kind of side towards Stimpy. I think maybe his gross out bits are a little funnier than Ren's gross out bits.
Yeah.
But for pure comedy lines, I will go with Ren. I think you have to choose Ren because his lines that he delivers are always hilarious.
Always hilarious.
Always hilarious.
I did put Ren. I love dogs. Both are hilarious and needed. I put Stimpy is pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
But they both are.
Yes.
After watching this, it's okay. There really isn't one person's more disgusting than the other, but they're both awesome. But
They
yeah,
are.
I love Ren. Ren's always been my favorite. The next email here comes from Troll Under the Bridge. Says, many episodes ago you said if we would email you and ask your favorite color that you would ask like the troll from Monty Python, so let's hear it. Drew, what is your favorite color?
For a long time, my favorite color I would say is blue. Blue, 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 blue.
Blue, 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 blue,
And
blue.
as dumb as this sounds, I'm going to have to say gray.
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 Gray's a
Because
good color.
I choose gray because most of my clothing is gray.
Sure.
And so obviously I have an affinity for gray.
Yeah, and gray is a good neutral color. Goes
Yeah.
with a lot of stuff.
Gray. I'm just a boring white guy that wears gray clothes.
I put blue as well. Blue's always been my favorite color. Honorable mentions to purple and orange.
Yeah.
I love purple and orange too, but yeah, blue is my favorite color. And then this last one here, I've been doing this lately. It's just my question for Drew. What kind of bike did you have when you were growing up? Was it a BMX bike or a mountain bike? And also, what kind, like brand?
Okay. So I had a generic. I think it was a Huffy, like a single. Like my first bike was this Huffy red, white, and blue single speed bike. So it wasn't a BMX bike, but it was like a kid's bike, you know. So it was that same similar size. Bent the tire the heck out of that, so I got a new bike.
Ooh.
The next a couple of years after that, maybe the next year. I don't remember exactly the dates here, but it was like a very 90s looking. It was purple, it had green and like that peachy orange color, like speckled spray painty looks. Also a Huffy. Yeah, had neon green brake lines on it and stuff, and it was a 10-speed, so I was like feeling the coolest, you know. And I had that all the way until I was probably about 13 or 14 years old, and then I got myself a red candy apple red Schwinn Predator Pro BMX bike.
Dang.
Yeah, I love that thing.
Nice.
Love that thing. As soon as I learned how to bunny hop, we were bunny hopping everything.
Bunny hopping everything. Yeah, Schwinn was like the brand, I feel.
It was. In 1998, 1997, Schwinn to win.
Schwinn to win, baby. I had a BMX bike.
Yep.
I had a dyno.
Oh, nice, nice.
It was like not the top of the line by any means, but it wasn't a garbage bike. My dad got me a pretty awesome bike.
Right. If I hadn't had a Schwinn, I probably would have had a dyno.
Nice.
Did you have the Bear Claw pedals, like the really spiky ones?
I don't think they were, because I don't ever remember racking my shins or anything super hard.
I asked for them for Christmas, got them, racked my shins once, took them off. Like, never again. Yeah. Not worth it.
Yeah, I did always have to get those little donuts that you put on your handles, because my thumbs would get torn to pieces.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're riding your bike
every single day.
And it's like 95 degrees outside.
And to and from school, which was about 3-ish miles, I want to say, for me, and I had to get back as fast as I could for Dragon Ball Z.
Like duh.
So, yeah, that wraps up emails today. Thanks for the emails. Please keep emailing us. Thank you again, Jake. Shout out Triple Falls Podcast. Email us at overduehomeworkpodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Like Drew said, we have Facebook, Overdue Homework Podcast. We put regular posts on there, reminders about episode drops and homework assignments. And as always, make sure you tune into the next exciting episode of the Overdue Homework Podcast.